It's no secret that if you're going to be successful in real estate investing, you have to be able to fund your deals. Whether you're doing the Burr method or whether you're fixing and flipping properties for a profit, you got to be able to get to the closing table with money, and you got to have money to rehab the property. And so I personally use Backflip Capital when I need money to get to the closing table and to rehab my properties. I'm in the middle of a flip right now, and I partner with Backflip. It has been the smoothest process of all time. I literally went on their app, applied for the loan. You get pre-approved in less than 48 hours. You can lock in funding in just a few seconds with the touch of a button. Funding takes less than 2 weeks. Hello, that gives you an advantage when you're making offers on properties. And I can't say enough about partnering with Backflip Capital. They're great folks with a fantastic product that everybody listening to this should check out for the next time you go to do a Burr deal or fix and flip property. So here's what I want you to do. Go down to the show notes of this show. I've put a link for Backflip Capital in those notes. All you have to do is click the link so that you can download their app and get your next deal funded with Backflip. Erica, what's up?
Hey, how are you?
I am good. I am stoked to have you on the show today because you had to be like one of the first 3 students in the Rental Academy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you were one of the first ones. We launched in November of 2022, and you were in early, came out guns blazing, and have absolutely crushed it. And are now a coach in the Rental Academy, but you're out doing ridiculous real estate deals on your own, which we're going to dive all into. But I want to say thank you for being on the show. Thank you for being an awesome student, and then obviously thank you for being a tremendous coach to the students who come in now. So I am so excited that you're here today.
Well, I am honored to be here, and thank you for, everything you've taught me and guided me to be where I'm at today. So I'm excited to get into it.
Let's do it. Well, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Erica Costanzo. Yes. I know you live in New Jersey. We'll talk about real estate in a minute, but like outside of real estate, pre-real estate, who are you?
So I'm a mom to 4 kids, and I'm married. I live in Southern New Jersey. Prior to real estate, I was a nurse. I don't work as a nurse anymore, but I did get my bachelor's and worked, full time in a hospital, did the things I was supposed to do, came out of college. I was actually also in grad school to get my master's. I really thought like nursing was my passion. Ended up not being it, but yeah, primarily just being a mom to 4 kids. They keep me extremely busy. So as you know, aside from real estate, that's about it. It's the constant juggle of, motherhood and doing all this now. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. The 4-kid thing, for those of you who don't have kids yet or have less than 4, it's crazy. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, you just wake up every day and survive.
Yes, I know. I say it all the time. I'm like, because even people, when they start having kids, I can relate now. And it's like, until you hit 4, you really can't. And the majority of people don't ever reach that number. So I'm just like, you're just never going to get it.
I know. And people look at you crazy and they make all these comments like, oh, you know what's causing that? 4 kids. It's because like nobody has big families anymore. Yeah. I'm like, wait, back off, bro. Like we're doing our thing. We like our 4 kids. It's fun. Yeah. You do your little 1 to 2 kid thing. We'll do our 4-kid thing.
I don't get to leave the house without ever hearing a comment. Oh, you got your hands full. Oh, this. Oh, yes. I've heard it all. I hear it every day. Thank you.
You can't go into Publix, Ingles, Walmart, Target, any of it. You're going to get a comment, but it's okay. It's okay. You just keep moving on. What made you get out of nursing? Was it when you started having children, you wanted to be at home with them?
That was a big part of it. But even backstory, I got pregnant in high school. So I became a teen mom. And like statistically, the success rate for teen moms is like less than 1%. Like you're not supposed to make it. But I was very determined. I mean, I've always been very determined. So graduated high school, having a baby, and went right into college. I took no time off. Even in college, I took like quick courses over, winter break, over the summer. I did everything I could to graduate on time, graduated with my bachelor's. I was one of the first in my class. Actually, I was the first in my class to pass the NCLEX, graduated with honors. I did all the things. And I really thought that was going to give me the freedom as a mom to, I only had to work 3/12s and I worked night shift actually. So I thought, I'll never miss days with my kids. I'll work nights. And that's what I did for a while. And I actually came out of college. I had another baby my senior year of nursing school. So I had 2 kids, graduated, went right on like the first to get a job. I had multiple offers, multiple positions, started working right away. And I was so burnt out so quick. First of all, nursing is just physically and mentally exhausting. Night shift did not give me freedom. Like, that's really funny looking back, thinking that I use the word freedom to even describe that. It's so different how I look at freedom now. I was exhausted every day. I mean, it was a struggle for my kids just to get me out of bed in the mornings because I was so tired from working all night. So yeah, it ended up just not being it. I really thought I was living like the life I was going to live. And we had the big house, we had kids, we were married at that point, and I was working a good job and it paid me good money, but in the end, it wasn't leaving me happy. You know, I was required to work weekends. I was required to work holidays. And I had to leave one Christmas halfway through the day to go, you know, take a nap to get ready for work. And I was like, I will never, ever do that again. I never want to miss another Christmas with my kids. And after having my third, that was the first time, because I started nursing with already 2 kids. So that was my first time having a true maternity leave. When I went back from maternity leave and I had to like barely have any time to pump, I'd stand in the bathrooms and like pump for my baby. It was like the grossest thing because there's germs everywhere. And I'm like, this is just not it. Like, my baby deserves better. And like, I can't even believe I had to go back to work like 6 weeks after having a kid. So that was another time that I promised myself, like, I'll never, if I ever have more kids, like, I'll never have to, like, my maternity leave will never end. And that's what happened with my 4th. So, you know, here I am still home with my kids. Like, I have not left that baby's side. My 4th is going to be attached to me forever, I swear, because I'm like this. It's like I don't let him go either. But, you know, not having to return to work was a huge changing factor in being a mom with me. So, yeah, It's just I didn't like having somebody tell me where I had to be, when I had to be. I don't like having a cap on my salary. Like, they determine, you know, how much I can make, no matter how hard I work too. That's the thing, you know. Then you're picking up slack from the people who just aren't as good because there aren't very, you know, there are people out there who aren't good nurses, and you could be the best one out there, but your paycheck doesn't say differently than the person sitting next to you who you're picking up their slack. And yeah, so it got really hard after COVID hit too, and that's when I left. So
I don't blame you. Jumping back to your story, that's the first time I've heard your entire story. You're a killer, like in the best way possible. I mean that in a good way. Like, just a stud. That is like the things that you've been through and just overcome and been successful, when a lot of people look at different situations in life and would say, too hard for me, can't do that, not going to be able to overcome it. You just were like, hey, we're going to keep it moving. We're going to keep being the best at what we're doing. And, you know, we're going to be successful. I'm going to be the best mom in the world, be there for my kids, and I'm going to provide the life that I want. And it's interesting. You thought, and we all do this, you went down this path of what you thought you want your life to look like, what you wanted your life to look like. And you had it like with the family life. Like, you're like, okay, I know I want this family, this large family, these kids. And I think this way of income, this way of life will provide it for me. And then you found out, no, it doesn't align with what I want. I'm tired of people telling me when I got to be somewhere. I'm tired of working weekends. I'm tired of having an income cap. And so eventually, obviously, which we'll talk about, you got into real estate after making the transition out of nursing, and obviously have exploded on the scene and, you know, been fantastic with that. What was the transition period like? So you got out of nursing 2020-ish. When did the real estate bug hit you? Like, what was that gap like for you?
So at that time, we were actually, during COVID, we were like fixing up our house. So what some people call like a live-in flip is what it ended up being. And it wasn't our original intention. But, you know, we ended up selling our first home that we lived in, and it eats at me every day. We had, you know, our first home that we moved in together was a townhome, a nice N unit. HOA took care of things. Like, ideally, like, it's like one of the perfect like rentals situations, you know, with what I know now. And so we bought that in 2016. And we sold it in 2019 and moved into what we thought, you know, our big forever home. And at that time, we did a lot of work to it when COVID hit. You know, we're home, my husband's out of work, and we just learned stuff. The only thing we ever hired out shortly after we did move in, we hired out the basement because it was completely unfinished, just concrete space. And we hired a contractor to finish that off for us. And I mean, I observed him. Like, I would go downstairs and watch what he was doing, and I'm like, we could do this. Like, why am I paying this guy like thousands of dollars to like lay LVP flooring. And he even like, he built a custom bar for us. And the wall behind it was like a stone wall. And then the big TV wall was like a wood accent wall. So I watched him do all those things. And I'm like, my husband and I could take this on. So after that, the first project we took on by ourselves was our half bath. And it came like so nice, and we just loved doing it, and we took on, the next room and the next room. The next thing we redid like all the flooring in the house. So we just fell in love with that process. It was something that my husband and I, for the first time too, like outside of kids, like we connected on. Like it got us excited. And with 4 kids, you don't get to go out and like do things outside of the house. So the fact that we found something that we could like, and now looking at it, make a living out of, and it's like a hobby for us. It's super fun to be able to, do it like that. But that's kind of how we fell in love with the process. And we also like realized how much equity over the past couple of years that our first home has like, its value is worth probably double right now what we sold it for. And like I said, it just kicks me in the butt every day. And we'd probably be, sitting pretty if we were being able to pull that equity from that house and go buy other houses. And we could sit here and say, well, we did that. We thought, we didn't, at the time, we just didn't know enough. We didn't, and we were uneducated. And like, I didn't think I needed the money. I was going to be a nurse. I was going to do all these things. And, but we didn't let that like deter us from then going and making it happen again. So we decided with all the forced appreciation we put into our own house to make a sacrifice and sell it. What we thought was, going to be our family home. We sold it and house hacked. So we went from, going into this here's our big upgrade back to a townhome. And it was a big sacrifice for us. I was pregnant with my 4th when we house hacked our first house. Wow. So yeah. I brought my 4th baby into a house hack, and, we plan on doing probably 2 to 3 more house hacks here. Yeah. And then just finally settling down into what will be our eventual forever home. But it's really worth cool. it. It's a lot of sacrifice, but we did realize like how much it's worth it for a short period of time. A year flew by in our first house hack. We're moving on to our second one now, and we might take on one more after that if, maximum. I want to be done house hacking.
No more than 3. I want to hit on a couple terms you just said for listeners. I'm going to let you explain one of them, and I'm going to explain the other. Erica mentioned in their first home, they forced appreciated that home. All that is a fancy word for rehab. So they took their home that they were living in, they rehabbed it, they made it prettier, which then made it more valuable. So they forced the appreciation or the growth in value of that home. Second term that you talked about, a lot of people know this, but I would like to make sure the listeners know, is you said that you guys have house hacked, you're currently house hacking, and you may potentially continue house hacking. Break down real quick what that looks like.
So house hack is basically where you buy a home with the intention of living there for, probably I would say up to a year. If you use FHA says 1 year. Conventional, there's different ways to go about it. But basically, you're looking at the average of 1 year that you're going to live there before you can move on. And it just gets you in the space with little money down. If you're FHA, you could do 3.5%, 5% down. So you don't need a ton of money out of pocket to now hold on to this long-term asset. When you move out, you're going to keep it and you just rent it out fully. You could also house hack. If you house hack a multifamily, like a duplex, you live in one side and you rent out the other. So even while you're living there with little money down, somebody, next door is paying most of your mortgage, if not all of it. So you're basically living for free. And then when you move out, you fully rent it out. So now you're cash flowing even more. And yeah.
Yeah. And you guys have done it in a house, right? Not in a duplex. So what Erica's done, if they've rented out, they've lived in one room and rented out the other rooms to tenants. And it's a fantastic way. Just like she said, you get into these houses with very little money down because of these loan programs. And then you have tenants come in and live with you. They're paying your mortgage sometimes more. Sometimes you'll even cash flow, but who even cares if you cash flow? Just get somebody in to take care of the majority of your mortgage. And then after a year, you refinance that into a different loan, and you just go repeat that FHA or conventional 5% down loan again. And that's what Erica and them are doing. They're on what you said, house number 2, and you may do 3 of those. And so then you can just stack these assets with very minimal money down. Somebody else is paying your mortgage while you're living there. Then when you leave, you're getting cash flow, and you're stacking property. So that is awesome that you guys have done that. And it's like you said, it's some sacrifice. Some people don't want to do the short-term pain for the long-term gain. It's either pay now, play later, or play now, pay later. Mm-hmm. You guys said, hey, it's not the most ideal situation right now. We know if we can sacrifice for the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to put ourselves on a trajectory that's going to completely change our lives for the rest of our time here on planet Earth.
Yeah. And especially with kids, I hear a lot of people go, oh, I wish I could have house hacked back when I was, in my 20s, and you have kids now. And I have 4 kids that I'm dragging around with me. And the most important thing is educating them on what we're doing. And making sure they're still getting the best life possible. Your home is primarily where you wake up, eat breakfast, and then you go out for the day and you come home and you sleep in your bed. Like my kids love being outside, and I love giving them experiences outside of the home all day long anyway. And educating them on what we're doing. I think it's super cool. And we're not moving them out of their school district. So we're literally house hacking in the same zip code. And one day I tell them, this could be your house that I just hand over to you. So that's why we're like, if we could get another 3 house hacks, we have 4 kids. So we could literally, each of our kids have their own home, just like, here you go, decide what you want to do with it. Maybe they'll live there and we can all live in the same town, and they're like stuck with me forever because I tricked them into that. Or, if they want to rent it out, become landlords, sell it and pay off something, but it's all about educating them too. So I wish somebody taught me these things when I was growing up. So
100%. Yeah. You just put yourself in a position to give yourself a lot of options for yourself and for your family.
Yes.
And you're starting to realize this, the more deals you do, the more you realize legacy, especially when you have kids. But it's important, I talk about this in our community, it's important to steward it correctly. Because if you build something, you're building this portfolio, this empire, but you don't involve the children, they don't appreciate it, they aren't educated on it, statistically, there's a really strong chance they're going to blow everything after you're gone. And if they don't blow it, statistically, the next generation is going to blow it. And so we have a duty, if we are going to be blessed and build these portfolios, we have to steward them correctly. And I love that you guys involve your kids the same way we do. Mine go to look at properties. They, I talk numbers with them. They're too young to really know what's going on. We play Monopoly, and I relate it to real life. I'm like, look, I'm not going to have some spoiled brats who, number one, don't appreciate it, and then number 2, throw it all in the garbage when I'm gone. Yeah. And I think that's so important. Unfortunately, it gets neglected.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I bring my kids with me to house showings all the time. Neighbors think we're like this family moving into the homes. They have no idea, because especially it's usually just me and the kids while my husband's still, working his job. And people don't think like I'm a female going to flip this house. It's also a whole nother world being a female in this industry. That's like a whole nother topic, but especially when I show up with the kids, which I a majority of the time do. Yeah. So there really are no excuses for why you can't get it done.
Seriously, let's hit on that for a quick second. If you are at the point where you're still making excuses that you can't get into real estate because you're too busy, you are missing the boat. You're missing the boat. You're listening to a lady right now who has had a full-time job, raising 4 kids, could have every excuse in the world to be too busy and not be able to change her life through real estate, and has said, screw it, I'm doing it anyways. Involving her kids, load them all up, going with 4 kids and herself to look at properties, to get quotes for rehab, all the stuff. She's doing it. What are you doing saying that you can't buy real estate because you got too much going on? You're lying to yourself. In my shoes, I've been working a full-time job. I've got 4 kids at the house. I coach their sports teams. We got stuff going on like crazy, but we find a way to make the time. Mm-hmm. And I just want to say kudos to you, Erica, because it's so easy to say, that's too hard for me, but you did it. And it should be an inspiration to others to say, no matter what stage of life you're in, you can buy and you should buy real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, you could use the excuse that you're too busy, but if you say that now, and you'll be too busy for the rest of your life. I'm doing the busy work now, so I don't have to ever in the future say I'm too busy for anything.
I love it. When I set out on my real estate journey 5 years ago, I wasn't exactly sure what the outcome was going to be, but I knew based on history that people who had bought this asset and held it over time, it had completely changed their lives. It had given them life-changing wealth. It had given them time freedom, and it had given them financial freedom. And I knew that I wanted that for myself and my family. Fast forward from 2018 to today, and it has completely changed our lives. It has completely changed my family tree because I said yes. I took that step forward into buying this asset that has proven itself time and time again for centuries. And so if you're still on the sidelines and you have yet to start buying real estate, or maybe you have a few properties, but you've ran into roadblocks and you haven't been able to scale and add the volume you needed to have that huge impact on your life, then I want to invite you into our Rental Academy community, where you're going to be linked up with investors all across the country. You're going to have coaching multiple times a week from myself and our entire panel of world-class coaches. You're going to be given all the knowledge and know-how that you need to be successful in real estate, the calculators, the templates, the guides, the lending partners, the insurance partners, the LLC partners, all of it. We're going to teach you everything you need to know to be successful in real estate investing. And then we're going to be there with you along the journey, hold your hand and guide you so that you can have the opportunity to reach and achieve financial freedom like I and so many of our students and people across the country have. So when you're ready to say yes, text the word WIN, W-I-N, to 871-861-9264. Set up a time to chat with myself or somebody on our team so that we can go on this journey with you and help you achieve the life of your dreams. I love it. So did the rehab you guys did on your personal home before you started house hacking, did that really spark the interest in starting to invest in real estate? Like, where did that desire come from? Where you were like, okay, we made some good money on our house. Now we're doing a house hack. You obviously learned about that somewhere, but now I know your story and you branch out and you're buying other properties outside of your house hack. So where'd you get that desire from?
Yeah, I think it was a mix of that. And like, you know, once we figured out how much we could like profit off of our home, and that we didn't sell it right away. We didn't jump at the gun. It was just that. And we kept looking at like, look what happened to the old home we sold. Like, what if we had still had that? And the home we were in, because a lot of people say, well, why'd you sell that one and not keep that one as a rental? It wasn't, you couldn't charge enough in cash flow, you know, or in rent to cash flow. It was just one of the bigger homes that you don't probably want to hold long-term like that. And yeah, just looking at that townhome and knowing like what we let go of, and it just was proof, like the value of real estate. You know, you had that long-term asset that we let go of, but it would have had tons of equity in today's day and age. And then the other house that we were in that we forced so much appreciation into, we just realized we could do this again and again and again, forever, really. I mean, we walked away from the table netting, you know, our check was over 120,000 when we sold that home. And I was like, I could do this again. Yeah, I could do this, you know? So, and not necessarily the live-in flip anymore, but we're flipping homes. We're on, you know, flips 3 and 4 of just, you know, retail, actual flipping and selling, not having to live in them. The house hack came as just more of like an opportunity. So when we realized what that could do for us, and it didn't seem like a big deal to live here, like live in a townhome for 1 year again. Like,
yep. Isn't it amazing? Like, I just try to think, like, how do people rationalize their decisions? Because a lot of people don't think about money and wealth like you do, and like I do, and like our community does. But logically, people's homes, their personal homes, are their most valuable asset in their entire portfolio, I would say 90% of the time. And when they go to sell those homes and they move to another home, usually they make a very pretty penny. I got a family member right now who's about to move, and he bought a property, I think at 130, and he's selling it for 250, or he bought it at 150, selling it for 230. Either way, he's making $80,000 to $100,000 and call it 4 years, 3 years. Mm-hmm. But then they never say, you know what? I should go and repeat this process for homes that I don't own. Because if I can make $200,000 on my home, what if I bought 20 properties that aren't my home and just did the same thing there? But it's like, no, that's too logical. I'm not going to do that. Who wants that kind of wealth or that kind of income coming in? I don't get it. Doesn't make sense.
Real estate's too risky and this and that, but the numbers always point to like the facts. Your home will appreciate no matter, like, who can ever say, yeah, my home really lost value and this and that? No, you probably, if you owned a home and then went to sell that home, you probably made money, like you're saying, you know?
Exactly. And there are times in the short term where you may not, but over the long run, based on data, when I'm talking to folks who are interested in joining our community, I tell them, like, whether you work with our team or not, you are on the right track as far as this asset, because you have removed all speculation when you invest in real estate, because you can look at data and history for centuries. And if we look back centuries, this asset has essentially said, it's now told us in writing, if you buy me and hold me over time, I will make you wealthy. And that's based on hundreds and thousands of years of data. And so to not do it is literally, I made a little short form post that'll come out on Instagram at some point. I don't know when this is going to air and I don't know when that other one's going to air, but I essentially said, you not investing in real estate now is you're robbing from your future. It's like literally somebody walking into your house, holding you at gunpoint and taking everything from you. That's what you're doing to your future when you don't buy real estate now. And it's a scary thought to think when you put it that way. At least it is for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, rant over. I could rant on that all day. I don't understand people's mindset, but well, cool. So you obviously you came into our world in November of 2022. I would imagine you had followed the Instagram account or found the Finance Cowboy brand somewhere.
Yes.
I like to ask, and I don't think I've ever asked you this. I don't ask this of our students a lot, but I think it'd be cool to understand for the people listening. I would love to hear what made you choose to join the Rental Academy at that time. Like, what were you looking for?
Yeah. So, like I said, kind of we just got interested in real estate basically on our own. Like we kind of taught ourselves a lot that we already didn't know. And then I started doing more digging, started following accounts on Instagram. And I would like very quickly start like after following accounts, unfollow them because they just weren't relevant. You were one of the people that I found along the way. And almost like it's like every post related so much and hit so hard. So the things you posted are educational, relatable, like straightforward. And I just like your, no BS type of attitude. You didn't make things look black and white and easy. You were just honest. And there's other people out there who preach their way or no way. And they they just make it look so easy and things like that. They make it look fun and they're on vacation and their cash flow is paying for it. And yeah, I wanted somebody who could educate me more because I was obviously gaining interest, but there's only so far you can go on your own. I truly believe getting a mentor and, getting educated the right way will take you so far in real estate. It saved me a ton of time. I mean, we're in this community now where I not only have you and I learn from your, not only your success, but your mistakes. So I don't have to make the same ones, but even the rest of the people in the group, I just learned so much from everybody. And that'll save you a ton of time, and time is money. So it'll save you, a ton of money. And yeah, it was definitely one of the smartest things you can do is getting into something like the Rental Academy and, the resources that are in there. And I will say, like, your course taught me about networking. It forced me to go out there and network to people who, like, it really wouldn't have been hard. I had their phones, their numbers saved in my phone, like an old friend that's now in real estate. And I just never thought like, oh, they don't want to hear from me. I'm not going to text them. After hearing you teach about networking, just sending a simple text, the next thing I know, we're on the phone for over an hour. Then we're in person. Then we're partnering on things. They're introducing me to wholesalers and this and that. Like, it will take you so far. And networking has been the second biggest game-changing thing in real estate for me. Yeah.
It's huge. It is so huge. Like I just taught Thursday, and I think you're a coach now and you did a live action hour where you were analyzing properties. We teach everything. I mean, I tell folks, you're going to come into our community and you're going to learn everything you need to know. And for those of you who don't know, the Rental Academy is our mentorship, our community, our coaching program. We got close to 200 students in there. We teach them pretty much how to buy short-term rentals, mid-term rentals, long-term rentals, and do fix and flips. And, we are very, very, very hands-on. There's a core training program that you have access to, templates, guides, calculators, contracts, lending partners, insurance partners, LLC partners. I'm coaching every week. Erica's coaching every week. We normally have additional calls. Then we have two other coaches who focus just on Airbnb and just on fix it. We got all different kinds of stuff and a huge community of people. And so it is, it's fantastic. But we're going to teach you all the nuts and bolts. Like anybody who comes through, you're going to have the opportunity to learn how to buy real estate and everything that goes with it, choosing your market, out of state, generating leads, analyzing those leads, funding your deals. But you hit the nail on the head. Like you can make some big waves and expedite the process of real estate by networking. Like it really, really, really can speed up the process for you. And that's what's powerful, I think, about the Rental Academy is now as it grows, you're able to network within that community as well. So it's not just locally, but nationally. And I 100% agree. And it's pretty cool to hear you say you took that away from, one of the things that we teach.
Oh yeah, it was definitely a push for me to go do it. Like in the back of my mind, I knew like I could probably text this person and get some nuggets from them. But after you know, really preached the difference it makes in your life, I was probably one of those people that thought I could do it by myself. If you're one of those people, you know, you might be able to do it by yourself, but like I said, you're going to make mistakes that could be avoidable, and it's going to take you probably 3 times as long. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's spot on. That is spot on. I personally in my life am parts of communities and mentorships like I offer for the Rental Academy for people who want to buy real estate. I do that for myself in other areas, in areas like marketing and writing emails and creating courses. Like I do the same thing. And you hit the nail on the head. It expedites the process. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're able to, number one, speed up your success, like the timeline it takes you to do what you're trying to do. And then you have these people there as the safety net. Like me and Erica beg our entire community. We were laughing yesterday because some people don't send in the right information that we want them to send in, but we beg them to send us all the deals that they are potentially looking to buy, because we want to be there with them to analyze it and talk through it with them and say, is this the best strategy? Should we do this instead? Or no, this deal's a killer. What are you waiting on? Make the offer yesterday. And that's just one example, but like having support like that and whatever you're trying to accomplish in life as that safety net when you're making decisions is huge. I mean, I think I saw you yesterday, I don't know, do 3 or 4 property analyzations, you know, with people. Like if they don't have a community, they don't get that. And then they probably don't ever buy a property because they don't feel confident that their numbers are right. And if your numbers aren't right, or you don't even know if your numbers are right, please don't buy property.
Yeah.
It's like, stay away, you know?
Yeah. And even on the call last night that I hosted, you know, I had somebody open up and say they were just having a hard time, like getting to the point of putting offers in, like, you know, paralysis by analysis. They're looking at these properties, running numbers, you know, thinking about it for 2 weeks, sleeping on it. And then the next thing they know, it's gone. And I had to make it very clear for him, like, and I quoted, I think he knew who it was. It's somebody in sports. I was, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. If you don't put an offer in on that property, you can 100% guarantee you're not going to get that property. You have no shot of it. So don't be afraid to put those offers in. And even just being there to give some tough love and give that little push of like, it's okay. It is okay. Let's work on, you know, how we're going to, and we did. I typed it to him, like gave him some basically blueprints of how to make your offers. How to kind of word them with like a little bit contingency too, if he's nervous or needs, you know, something in his inspection where he can get out of that contract should he need to. But even putting in an offer, it doesn't get you under contract. You could just throw offers in all day. I do. I have no idea if they're going to accept it or what they might come back with. I don't even know where I'll find the funds, but if we get it under contract, I'll figure that out. There's just nothing binding me with the offer, you know, like they could come back and accept my offer and I could say, no, never mind. I moved on. It just doesn't bind you to anything.
Yeah. Yep. Nope. You're spot on. It's like, I don't know that's the best quote. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. That is spot on. You have to be putting offers out there because the key is, and we talk about this, and I think I'm going to try to get it trademarked. And I'm looking at another little corner of my office, my studio, where I can shoot content. I want to get like another neon sign like this one that says, find deals, get money. Because if you find good deals, I mean, you have talked about this, the money's the easy part. It's just like you said. You're like, bro, I'm going to make offers until I can get deals. And then I'll figure out what to do with them. Maybe we got to wholesale them. Maybe we flip them. Maybe we keep them in our rental portfolio, or maybe we just drop out of it. But if I find a good deal, I got to make an offer and try to get that under contract. Then we'll say, what are we going to do with it?
Yeah. Yep.
I think that's key. So I want to put you on blast in a good way and call out the deal that you did not long ago. Was this your first flip, the one I'm bringing up?
Yeah, but besides for like what I considered my live-in flip, it was my first, like, you know, didn't have to live there and actually rehab the property and put it on the market. Yeah.
Okay. So did you guys end up grossing around $103,000 on this flip? Am I right on that?
Yeah. So gross was like around 100, I would say. Yeah. Cause net was closer to like, what do you call it? Like 80. But it was more of like a hotel too than a flip. Like our original intention was like, let's do the full thing, which would have taken, it takes a couple months because we were going to finish there's a third story, and it's like just an unfinished attic. We're like, we could make a bedroom out of this, maybe make it a master suite and add a bathroom. But when we got pricing for that, it would have taken so long and we would have spent so much on the contractor to do that. And when we looked at the comps and the value, it just didn't make sense. When we actually ended up flipping the home in like a matter of a month, my husband was able to do most of the work himself in there. We didn't even go through with the contractor. I project management myself. We subbed out what we had to. Like the only thing we had to pull permits on was electric. And we ended up just, we did the full thing besides for that space up there. And it still was really nice. And we were able to finish space off in the basement too. So you did have extra livable space down there. We made a room, whether they use it as an office, rec room, bedroom, whatever. We finished off a room and then a separate laundry room in the basement area. So we did do a lot, and we were able to do it in, like I said, like less than half the time and less than half the money than that contractor quoted us. Wow. And yeah, we probably would have made a little bit more if we finished the top, but when you divided up the numbers, the time and money that it would take to make that little bit more, it maybe would have been at the end of the day $5,000 more on a profit. Like it didn't make sense. So
not worth it.
Right.
That is amazing. First flip, coming to the academy, go through your first flip, you make close to $100,000 gross. That is ridiculous. And I'm jealous. Now I'm in the middle of a flip right now that may compete. But I haven't flipped a property and made that much yet. And so you beat me to it. It was inspiring. I told everybody, I was like, guys, this doesn't happen every time, but that's why you have to, like you said, make offers. If you don't, I tell people, don't expect to make $100,000 every time you flip. No. But if we're making 30, 40, 50, which is very doable, let's say you make 30 grand net after each flip. You do 3 of those a year, you're almost making $100,000 extra dollars.
Yes.
That's insane. And you guys are on your 3rd or 4th, this year?
Yeah.
I think?
Yep. And the numbers 3 and 4 that we're on right now, like that's the number, like the profit is like 30 to 50. We're making like 30 to 40 on the one and closer to 50 on the other. Like that's maybe your everyday flip. But the potential's out there when you just keep shooting your shot with offers and finding those deals.
Yes, that's great. I mean, you're going to supplement your income this year by just a gross on track right now, close to $175,000, $200,000 gross. Now it's not net, but still, I mean, that's a lot of extra money. It's like you're having fun. You already said it. You and your husband are connecting on it.
Yeah.
And you're doing a lot of the work yourself, which a lot of people think is like this daunting thing. I don't do any of the work. So anybody listening, you don't have to do it yourself. Erica and her husband enjoy doing some of the projects themselves. That's great. I would say Erica, 65%, 70% of our community probably invest out of state.
Yes.
Probably. It's probably that high. So a lot of people don't do work themselves. It's okay. I don't, even if I buy close to me. But I like the strategy that you implemented. Even when the work that you're not doing on the property, you guys are subbing it out, which we won't get into a whole rehab ordeal here, but there's really a couple different ways you can fix up a property. You can fix it up yourself. You can pay a contractor to manage the entire project for you, or you can sub the project out. And we were talking about this recently. I think the best way 100% to rehab property is to sub it out. You call the plumber separately. You call the HVAC guy separately. You call the framing guy separately, the drywall guy. And when you do that, not only will you speed up the process of the rehab, but you're going to save a bunch of money, just like you said. And you guys are on, 3 and 4 right now, and you've been doing the same thing and haven't had any issues, move faster, and like you said, saved a bunch of money.
Yeah. And once you have your team established, like it becomes, so much easier. Once you find that good plumber and that good HVAC guy, you just call them for the next one, and it becomes a much easier process. Relying on contractors, again, it was just never my thing in my life to rely on any other people. I gained a lot of, independence throughout my life. Probably a lot of it becoming a mom so young, I had to become independent and stand for myself and stand up for myself. So it's the same thing in real estate, like especially, as a female, like I call a lot of male subs and they off the bat, some don't take me very seriously. And it's a little, insulting, but once I put my foot down and stand my ground and show them that I'm serious and show them what I'm actually here for, they turn around real quick. And if they don't, then I don't call them again. So that's on them.
See it. My wife manages a lot of our rehab. You've heard me talk about this.
Yeah.
and I will get the subs, and I know them. Part of it, they're not being rude, but part of it is my fault because I've worked with them in the past before she did a lot of the managing that we have. But I'll let them know on the front end, she's running this project, and they'll still text me. And I had to say, hey, this is who's in charge. Don't talk to me again about this. I'm not doing my job was to find the deal and close on it. We're at the next step, and I'm not involved in that. Don't text me anymore. Text my wife. And it's just, I can see how it can be hard in this industry to be a female.
Yeah.
100%. You got to stand your ground, but you show them what's up one or two times, and you'll straighten them up.
Yeah.
You straighten them up. I feel confident about that. What's it like now? We'll wrap this up. What's it like now being a coach, now being able to guide other students along their journey in real estate?
Actually, I gained interest super early on. I think it was during my initial call when I was interested in joining the Rental Academy, with one of your recruiters, I guess. And I told them one day, I want to speak on your calls. I want to host about my success, and be an inspiration. I was just that ready to go. And I think it was even clear to him because he had mentioned it. And I was I would absolutely love to do that. So it's just about really giving back too. I learned so much from not only you, but other people when you network and things like that. And I think it's all about that. We're never in competition with each other. We're all growing together. There's always something that we can gain from each other. You might be more experienced than me. You might have done more homes and flips and things like that. But there's still some type of value that I can bring you. It's not always the other way around where I'm better than you and I'm going to teach you. And no matter what stage you're in, you really can give back and help others, even in the beginning stages. So for me, that's a big part of it. I just enjoy doing that. And I enjoy learning from them. Like I said, it's not all about me teaching them. They also bring things that, maybe I've never heard of or scenarios that I haven't lived through yet that I'm I'm getting value from. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, that's spot on. Yeah, I've learned a ton just from teaching. And I've been through a lot of different transactions over the years, and I still pick up stuff all the time. And I'll tell you too, I come from the sports background, and coaching's always been, I think anybody who plays has a sense of wanting to coach inside of them. Maybe they don't. That's how I was. Yeah. But I get so much joy now when somebody in the academy buys a property. I just feel like a proud dad. I'm not anybody's dad there, but I just want to hug them. I'm you did it. Because I know, whether they're buying their first property, we have folks that come in that buy their first property, and then we have folks that come in that need help scaling. Mm-hmm. Whatever they're trying to accomplish, when they hit that, it's this is amazing. Whatever roadblock you came in here for, we just helped you overcome that. And then we're going to do it again and again and again and again and again. And, you're getting to see that now. And it's cool. It's really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that nurse in me, my background was a nurse, you have to care about people to be a nurse. And that still stands. It's not all about houses. We really are in a people business. And, being in an academy like this where I can now be a coach and help other people, it's all about that helping side of me that's still there. And I get to do it now in real estate, which is super cool.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, if anybody listening to this is bro, I want to be a part of that. I want to learn from her, Erica, and I want to learn from you, Jaren, and figure out this real estate thing. Shoot us a text to 871-861-9264. Text me the word WIN, W-I-N, to 871-861-9264. And set up a time to chat with us. We'd love to talk to you, see if we'd be a good fit, explain in more detail what we do. But we have just a fantastic community and fantastic coaches such as Erica. And we would welcome you in with open arms. And what I tell people is we take you from where you're at and we help you get to where you want to go. That's the whole reason of our existence. And we're very hands-on. I'm very hands-on. Erica's very hands-on. Our other coaches, all of us are hands-on. I think that's what sets us apart. People say, what makes your program different from anybody else's? I'm well, I am there all the time. I don't know if any other guys are. Maybe they are, but I am, and Erica is, and our community's there. And so anyways, I'll stop rambling now, but thank you, Erica, so much for being on today. I know you're doing this in a short window when your husband's got your kids and he's got to get back to work. So thank you. This was amazing. You're an unbelievably gifted investor, amazing coach and teacher. And I'm proud you're part of the Rental Academy. And
thank you for having me. Yeah, I'm honored and proud to be here myself. Proud to be a part of it.
Love it. All right. Well, we will talk soon.
All right.